Well, hello and welcome back. So we've taken some time away. We have because I wanted to do a deep dive and do some research, do some Q&As, polls, and determine what really is an audience looking for that comes onto YouTube, specifically in the real estate sector. Yes, you want to know maybe what are some of the hottest trends as far as houses are concerned. Yes, you may want to know where are some of the great restaurants and coffee shops and shop local and things like that. And as realtors, we do provide that type of information. But by and large, an individual who comes onto YouTube wants to be educated. You want to know what are the trends that need to be found in a property, but more importantly, what are the numbers that get married to those trends? Because people buy real estate so that they can create a nest egg, so that they can create a legacy, so that they can create generational wealth. That's what I want to bring to you because I am a statistics junkie. On this channel, we are going to be looking at statistics for different property types, for different communities, for different cities, zip codes, even all over the DMV region. And that's going to be extremely important. It's imperative for individuals who are looking to purchase, for our sellers, for my sellers who are looking to sell their property. What could they expect as far as days on market, as far as what they need to have inside of their property in order for that sale to go from list to sold in the shortest amount of time? What can you expect as your end dollar? For our investors, for my investors, for those individuals who maybe they found that needle in a haystack, they found that property that they're going to pay cash for, but what is their cash flow going to look like over time? Should they sit on the property and it's a buy and hold, or should they renovate that property and sell it because the equity is good and the gain is good immediately? So those are the things that I am looking to bring to my community. And that's what this channel is going to be all about. So today is no different. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the latest market trends for the Rockville, Maryland community, specifically for the single family home. So if you have been thinking about buying, selling, investing, then this video is going to give you valuable insights again for the Rockville single family home community. And it's going to be a video that you're going to want to save. In fact, most of my videos will be, because I'm going to pull back the curtain, so to speak, and show you charts and graphs, things that I use on actual listing appointments to truly educate my consumer and let them know what is going on, what they can expect, and whether or not they're making a good decision. So before we can do that, though, I think that you always have to look at the overall economic impact of what's going on in the global sector so that it can see how it's actually impacting our real estate market. So, on a broader economic context, back in the summer, CNBC went and they did a review on the meeting that the Federal Reserve actually had in June 2024. So at that meeting, the Federal Reserve decided that they were going to hold federal funds and that target rate at 5.25 to 5.5% from July of 2023. And the reason why this is so important is because we know that we have been in an inflationary period. And so the Federal Reserve said that they had continued to increase and have interest rate hikes to combat the inflation. So many people don't realize that between March of 2022 and July of 2023, we actually saw 11 interest rate hikes. And now why this is so important to the Rockville community or to any real estate community for that matter is that it directly impacts it. But in Rockville, despite the fact that we were having all these interest rate hikes, the market remained strong and it remains on fire to this date. So we're going to be looking at these August numbers and seeing how the single family home community there in Rockville is actually performing. So let's get into the nitty gritty of that Rockville market. From January to June 2024, so those 6 months, we had a sold dollar volume that increased by 7.89% compared to 2023. And that's a huge jump. And most of the numbers I'm going to show you today are just going to blow your mind about some of the jumps that we've had. So it was a 7.89% jump. And so our dollar volume that was sold in total between just those 6 months was well over $443 million. So these numbers really indicate that there is a verdict of a very robust and dynamic market. So whether we're talking about the NAR settlement, which we know now has been put into place, we're in full swing. We put all the necessary things into place, or we're talking about those interest rate hikes. Regardless, we never saw a slowdown in the Rockville single family home community, and that is huge. That's good news. So something that we want to put in the back of our mind, and then as we look at these charts and graphs and we look at where we are now, here we are entering into our fall market. We get to see how the market continues to perform. So without further ado, my name is Natalie Dean. I am your DMV realtor, licensed associate broker, and I take these stats extremely seriously. Market data is so important. It's crucial to you understanding what is going on with your property or a property that you are looking at purchasing or properties. And I do my absolute best to give you value-driven content because I believe as my clients and as my viewers, you deserve that type of information. Again, like I said, as I did those polls, I recognized that people wanted targeted data, very hyper-local focused data. And that's what I'm going to provide in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, because I do business in all three jurisdictions. So over this next weeks, months, as I'm covering different cities and I'm covering different locales and zip codes, if one I haven't done or I'm not talking about that I am going to do it, let me know. Call me, text me, DM me, email me, any communication means necessary. And I will make sure to do that video specifically for you. And I might even give you a shout out about it. So I want your feedback. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know whether or not I am covering everything that you're wanting to know, because I want to make sure that I truly educate my consumers. So let's dive right in. We're focusing specifically on single family homes in the Rockville community, and our average sold price actually saw a 9% increase this year to $604,950. Now, that is a substantial jump from last year, and it shows that we are in a strong market there in Rockville. There's high demand, there's rising property values, and those, again, are good things. And as we take a closer look, as I said, I'm going to pull back the curtain and I'm going to show you charts and graphs that I actually use on listing appointments to ensure that, again, my client is highly educated as to what they could expect, what they need to do in order to get the highest property value in the shortest amount of time. But today, we're not going to be looking at particular attributes like bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, age, because those are very granular. If you want that information, again, I'm more than pleased to provide it to you. I'm a statistics junkie, but I'm going to be providing a very clear, concise overview of the Rockville single family home community and market. And so again, you're going to want to save this video. This is a video that you're going to want to go back to audit because of the charts and graphs that I'm going to provide. And if you ever want those things, you just let me know. Because education is very important to me. So let's talk about the current inventory and sales. In the first half of 2024, we saw a 2.76% increase in units sold. Basically, of that 444 million that I spoke of, it was 671 properties that actually changed hands. And so, again, it just shows how strong of a market is, how many individuals are moving into the Rockville market. And as we go into a turn of events with government and so forth over these next 6 to 9 months, you know that we're going to have an influx of new people moving into the DMV area. And Rockville is going to be one of the major communities that they're looking at. In fact, when we look at Niche actually ranked Rockville as an A+ community. And they did that because of its proximity to Bethesda, to downtown DC. It's known now for many, many blue ribbon schools. It has great nightlife, shopping, entertainment, dining, and the list goes on and on and on. And so it's got an A+ ranking. So again, if you are Maybe you're looking to move up. Maybe you have been looking at another property across town, Bethesda, DC, Arlington, and you're wondering, man, is this the time? Am I going to get a, good return on value for my property? You're going to want to dial in, pay keen attention. Again, if you are an investor and maybe you found that needle in a haystack, maybe I'm the one who helped you find the needle in a haystack, and you're wondering, Natalie, is this really a good price for this particular property? What type of equity and what type of return on value am I going to get? Is this a buy and hold, or is this a property that I need to go ahead and, let go of once I actually do the renovations to it, because the equity is so good, the return on value is so good. So, those are the things that we're going to actually be able to dive into in this particular video. So let's shoot out to some of these charts that I talked about, because I want to look at supply and demand. I want to see, where we are. Are we in a 4 to 6 month supply and demand, where that means that we're in a very balanced market? Are we less than 4 months, meaning a seller's market? Are we more than 6 months, meaning a buyer's market? Where exactly are we? So let's dive in. I want to share my screen with you. And again, I'm pulling the curtain back. Because these are charts that I share with my community when I am going out to do a listing appointment. So this is good stuff. So let's look at my dashboard. So when we look at the dashboard, again, I talked about the months of supply. In August, our months of supply, because we're always going to be about a month behind. So yeah, we're in October, but we haven't gotten our updated numbers yet. So for August, our months of supply was 1.4. So we talked about 4 to 6 months being a balanced market. Well, we're at 1.4. So, you do the math. Yes, we're definitely in a seller's market. Definitely in a seller's market. So our closed sales, if we go back to the beginning, is 118 for the Rockville market. And so a 5-year average usually is about 148. So we're down just a bit. But again, we've had a lot of volatility, a lot of things going on with the NAR verdict, and still, not that much of decrease. The demand is still there. We have pendings of 96 pendings overall, and that's new pendings. So just for the month of August, our pendings were at 96. So that does not include all pendings, which would be a carryover maybe from any pendings that were supposed to settle in July but didn't. So just for the new pendings, it's 96. And our active listings are 155. So again, just down just slightly. So we're going to come back to our spotlight. But I like to look at specific zip codes because as a seller, Rockville and a buyer, Rockville is a very diverse and it's a very robust, vast community. And so there's actually 4 zip codes that are represented in Rockville. So how are each one of those zip codes actually performing? So 20850, our median sold price is $644,000 in August. 20851, our price is $540,000. Jumping up to 20852, $592,500. 20853, $615,000. Now, this is not just going to be just single family. This is going to be in total. So this really represents single family. It represents condos. It represents townhomes. So when we take an average of all of them, and we look at what our median sold price is, this is what it is. But, in just looking at this, you can go ahead and begin to think about, okay, depending on what zip code you're in, where your price points might be. And also, if you're a buyer and you already know this is how much I have to spend, now you can begin to think to yourself, okay, well, how much will my money buy depending on the zip code that I land in? And I can tell you folks that no matter where you are in Rockville, as vast as a community as it is, there really isn't a bad buy. There's not a bad place to be in Rockville. Yes, some of the zip codes perform higher. It could be proximity to Rockville, proximity to I-270, and things like that. But by and large, because of having such a great access to transit, metro, the metro bus lines and things like that, shopping, school systems and so forth, there really isn't a bad buy in Rockville. So overall, even though some zip codes outperform others, you're making a good choice if you're looking at the Rockville community. And again, you can come back and audit this and look at it, take a snapshot of it, because now you can see if you're in those particular communities, okay, how was it performing in 2023 versus how it's performing today. So like a year-to-date change right here, we get to see that 2024 20850, we are at it's at $714,744. So there's the difference. So just in August, because we had such a slight decrease in the amount of inventory that actually was sold, you're going to see a decrease in numbers. But overall, what an amazing increase, a 10% change in 2850. And all of these are positive. So 6.5% change. 2852, a 12% change. 2851 is a little bit smaller at 0.7%, but all of them had a very positive change. So we're going to come back out here to our charts and things like that, but we're just going to stop our share for the moment. So, and stopping our share for the moment, let's, talk about, well, what are some of the things, because this is very important. Many times individuals are moving, they're relocating from all over the place. Maybe you are a person who's binge watching real estate videos now on YouTube because you're moving in from California and maybe you've never visited the DMV area. You're having a job change, you got a job offer, or, you're coming from, Chicago, Illinois, you're coming from Florida, wherever you're coming from. What could you expect to receive? So that's just as important as the property that you're selling. What could they expect to receive by living in your particular locale? Well, Rockville has an amazing proximity to downtown DC. And yet it has still a very suburban feel. So individuals who, I know when I was a single woman, I loved living in a suburban location, but I wanted to have somewhat of a urban feel and the proximity to shopping, to dining, to some levels of entertainment. And I also wanted to be able to get into the city very quickly. So even our single folks, sometimes they're looking for that. They want a suburban feel, but they want to have a trendy area to live in. So, that's what Rockville actually provides. And we're going to see more and more people actually moving into the community. But for individuals who have children, it is great school systems. For individuals who have to work in DC, or maybe you're working over in Arlington or out in Silver Spring, a great public transit, one of the best areas in the DMV area for local public transit, and just a plethora of it available. Phenomenal shopping. There's so many different enclaves and shopping centers in Rockville. You kind of just drop a pin on the map and you can find a number of different shopping centers. And if there's not one that you love, the getting to one that you love is extremely easy. Easy access, like I said, to downtown DC, I-270, 495, and so forth. So again, that is key for individuals to really understand, what could I expect if I'm in the Rockville area. And I also wanted to let you know one other thing, sellers. If you're curious about your home value, I have provided a link below that gives you an instant valuation. So normally, you see those ads and you have to click on there and you have to give some more information. With this particular link that I have, that I'm now giving to my audience, you can get an instant valuation. And I think that that's so important, because no, it's not going to be granular. You would have to reach out to me to get something that is very, very specific, because you've done certain upgrades in your home. But if, once you give where you live, and it does all of the math and it looks at your bedrooms and bathrooms and so forth, it can give you a really good output of what your value is for your property. And so many people feel like that has just been phenomenal for them to be able to have access to that and have an instant valuation. It's really mind blowing. And I haven't been using it here, but I have been using it on other search engines that I've been posting it on. And trust me, people have been reaching out and saying, thank you, Natalie. Thank you for giving me access to that, because it gives such valuable information and what you can expect to get for your home valuation. So, you know, I'm always happy to help. So if you're looking for more finite information, then just let me know. Again, I'm happy to give that to you. So let's move on to, well, what type of buyer is actually purchasing in the Rockville market in terms as financing is concerned. We had 441 conventional loans that have closed. Our cash transactions have been 175. Our VA loans have about 26, and our FHA loans have been 12. So by and large, our buyer there in Rockville is a conventional buyer. And we do have a number of individuals who have cash who will come into the Rockville market, and they buy at all price points. So don't think that if your home is at a higher price point that a cash buyer may not be interested in it. It really depends on the demand. And our demand is high right now because we don't have as much inventory. And I'm really curious to see what our demand will be like through this winter market. Sometimes it's common, as everybody knows, for our demand to slow in the wintertime. And once school gets underway and things like that. But because our interest rates have come down, because it's an election year and just, and a number of other factors, I'm really, really interested in seeing, whether or not our demand will continue to be as strong as it's been, and, hoping to see additional inventory come in to be able to, offset that demand. So I will continue to do updates. So please, please, please stay peeled. But let's go back out and share that screen one more time. A couple more tidbits that I actually want to share with you that I think are extremely important. I want to share with you the local market insight for Rockville. So we looked at the new listings, pendings, and closed sales. Our median sold price is down from August 2023 by 1.6%. Again, it's at $604,950. And then also just looking at our closed sales. Our closed sales are there in July. We were just above 700,000. And now, like I was saying, we're at about we were at about 604,950. And again, a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were dealing with what's going to happen with our interest rates. But now that we have seen what's happened with them, we really get to see that our market is holding strong. And I think we're going back in for an uptick in the market. So I'm really excited to see what our numbers will be like for September, and to come on and actually do an updated video around our September statistics. I'm going to stop our share real quick because I want to share with you. Yeah, this is really important. This is something I wanted to share with you. I want to look at this chart, and I wanted to look, as you can see here, I have it turned to single family, so detached all. And I wanted to just look at some of these trends. So when we look at the pricing trends there, again, we look at just detached homes in August, $636,000. Now, that was a change from August of 2023 in an upward tick of 2.6%. So again, there's a gain there. And that was the median sold price. So then let's look at our average list price, new listings. Let's look at that. So for new listings, our average list price is $796,205, up by 9.8%. So that right there, again, it's indicative of the fact that we are very much inside of a seller's market. Our list price continues to gain. That's exciting, especially as we are heading into the fall sector. Now, let's look at our pricing ratios. So our median sold price to list price. So what we originally listed it for versus what it sold for. In August of 2024, 101%. 101.4%. So what that really means is that what we actually listed the property for, we sold it higher than that, by basically 1.4%. So again, just shows how strong it is. And actually in August of 2023, it was even higher. So let's find August of 2023. Here we are. It was at 103.2%, up by 3.2% from August of 2022. Those are amazing numbers. And again, I do not think, because of what Rockville has to offer, because of the fact that we are in the year we are, where government is changing and things like that, that we're going to see a slowdown. In fact, I think that we're just only going to see an uptick. Again, let's look at these days on market. Let's look at, what you could expect. So our median days on market for sold properties, 7 days. So let's see, August of 2023, 6 days. 6 days. So, as it's saying there, up by 16.7%. 7 days for a detached single family home. Unbelievable. Again, it just shows you we are definitely in a seller's market. Our average days to settle, let's look and see, what is it? Our average days to settle is 49 days. So that makes sense. A single family home, there's a lot of moving parts, sometimes even with the financing, but also single family homes, once you do the home inspection and so forth, can be a lot of moving parts, can take time to get everything actually cleared up, as far as, maybe any repairs that have to be done to the property. And so that just shows you how important it is, how imperative it is. I like to actually do a home inspection on the front end and just kind of do like a 29-point inspection. Because now, if that's the average, can we come in under it? Of course we can come in under it. We don't need to be at 50 days. So that's the long game. Let's get on the short game. And then the last thing is, let's look at our average contract to settle. 6 days. From the time that we're in contract to the time that we settle, 26 days. And again, we can get on the short game. On the short game, because we're up, or that's lower, by 7.1%, which is fantastic. But we can come underneath there. I like to know what these statistics are, because what I like to do as a professional is help you to be able to beat the odds. Let's always beat the odds if we can. And then our price per square foot, this is so important. Our median sold price per square foot is 3. This is important because sometimes in your paperwork, sellers, you'll go back and you'll look at, well, what was my price per square foot when I purchased my home? And that really gives you a nice understanding of where your equity has gone. And again, we're not even granular. So if you've done, an exponential amount of upgrades to your property, it's probably much higher than this, but on average right now, it's about $322. And it's down 1.2%, but not bad at all. And then wanted to look at our supply and demand, that last statistic to look at. And our supply and demand, 1.06 for our single family homes. That's so exciting. It's exciting for a single family home, for our sellers, because that means our inventory is extremely low. And again, we have all these buyers that are now looking at this market, that are moving in because of the change in government. And Rockville is going to be one of the key markets that they're going to look at because of all that it has to offer. Literally, our demand cannot meet our supply. We need more listings. And so that's good news for our sellers. That's our month of supply right now. Then just want to look at our absorption rate. And our absorption rate is at 1.35%, or excuse me, it's actually at 0.93%. So again, we are definitely in a seller's market. So those are just really hot statistics for us to look at. I always like to look at those things because, again, it just really gives you an opportunity to be keenly aware of what you can expect in the Rockville market. So looking ahead, we're going to see whether or not the demand will continue through the end of the year. I definitely think it will. Again, we might see a slowdown, but I doubt that we will, especially because they're saying that they are going to continue to perhaps lower the interest rates. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to definitely be doing market reports on Rockville. This is one of the markets that I'll probably do once a month over these next 6 months. And again, you always have the opportunity to get an immediate instant valuation on your property just by clicking on that link and putting in your information. But that's all for today on our Rockville single family homes. And I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your speculations that you have on the market. And I want to answer any of the questions that you might have. I love doing additional research once I receive the comments. So let me know how I can be of service to you. And even after you maybe put in your information and get that instant valuation, but you want to get even more granular, reach out, let me know. I'm here to provide that information to you. I have appreciated so much that you've been watching. I appreciate that you're a part of the journey, and I truly appreciate your time. And so until we see each other once again, make it a phenomenal day.